And point number 1, it says the purpose of your life is to experience God, and it shows you the verses behind that. And then number 2, how do you do that? You fix your eyes on Him, and that means you just believe in Him. And then number 3 is that you become what Jesus is called the new wine in the Bible. Not the old wine, but the new wine. There's verses that cover that. So if you're looking for a simple way to think of if your life as a Christian, this is it. I mean, you're not here you're here to be dads and make money and do all that kind of stuff, but your number 1 purpose more than anything else is to have experience of God. That's what everybody in the Bible, people wouldn't know God, and then God would reveal Himself to them. People experience God. You want to have that be how you get to know God. You want to say, God, show yourself to me. Let me experience you, and so forth.
I think one of the most hardest things, not unimaginable, it's the hardest thing that seems unimaginable is to put Him before everybody, like your kids, your wife. Like I hear it, like you have to do that, and it's just almost unimaginable that you put Him before your child, that you love more than anything in this world. Like you cherish your wife and your child, Like your child you're supposed to cherish, you cherish more than your wife, But how can you put God before that?
Do you mind if I say something about that? Okay, because you're absolutely right. In my opinion, you're totally right. About 4 years ago, I had a prayer. I was in seminary, where you go to school to become a pastor. And we had this class, you had to do a 24-hour prayer retreat in total isolation. So I had a room in my basement, this little closet. And I put on headphones and stuff so I couldn't hear anything, and it was in perfect blackness for 24 hours. I just prayed. Like, it was great. It was like the 24 hours went by like that. You kind of just go in a different realm, with the Lord. So, but I was praying at that time. I'm like, Lord, show me anything I need to know that's holding me back from you. I want to be as close to you as possible. You're where the joy is. I want more and more God, And then so all of a sudden He puts in my mind through the night, about maybe 3-4 hours into this, that you have fear about your kids, because I've got 4 kids. And some are I've got 5. Now then I had they were a lot younger and stuff, but some are still 5 and 9, for example. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to just go as far as possible with this. And I said, all right, Lord, I just let go of everything. My wife, kids, everything. You have control over them. You take care of it. And I had to kind of do this because I didn't want to at first. Just like you're saying. Because you're really kind of letting go of you're not in your, because I'm like a, worried dad, and you're like a lot of dads are maybe. I'm always making sure they don't fall in the hole or, pothole or something like that. And, so I'm always worried and stuff about them. And it took me, about a half hour during that time and just praying, almost just telling God and thinking to myself, just letting Him go. Like, Lord, you have control of them. Keep them safe. Do whatever you want with them, though. Make them be ministers for you. Save them. Bring them to heaven and all that. But I'm giving them all to you completely. And I really did this full. It wasn't just saying it. It was a real cry of my heart. I know that.
A real feeling?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there can't be anything between me and God. And I was saying, okay, they are between me and you, and now they're not. I was telling God, you have them, not me. Now I let them go. And man, it was like scary and awesome at the same time. Now I'm going to tell you this, brother. I'm just going to tell you this, and you don't have to believe me if you don't want. I've had some weird experiences, Bible type experiences happen. About 10 minutes after this whole thing, I'm just laying there just thinking about God looking down on me in perfect blackness. I'm just laying on the ground kind of like in a cross pose, and it's perfect blackness, and all of a sudden I could sense something was there in the blackness. So I'm looking up. I'm like, there's something there, and it's really powerful and kind of scary, to be honest. And all of a sudden I saw a pinpoint of light, and it went until my whole vision was filled with this white light that was kind of rippling like water, and I was absolutely terrified of it. It wasn't like, oh, it's beautiful or something like that. It felt like I was dead. There's 2 ways people have acted, because I talked to pastors about it for a few days after it happened. They said, explain how it felt. And I'm like, one thing, it felt like I was on the other side. Like I wasn't here anymore. I was in the other realm. And I wasn't supposed to be yet, because I was literally dead, And the other thing, it felt like it was not a thing, what I was experiencing. It wasn't a thing. It was, in 1 Peter says, the end of all things is near, so be sober-minded and watchful so you can pray. Notice it says the end of all things is near. When the Lord returns and the new earth is built, and we're as angels, Matthew 22:30, we'll be as angels. which is going to be amazing. We'll be a different sort of, we'll be beyond things. Now we're things. I'm a thing, you're a thing, the chair's a thing, the eraser's a thing. We'll be beyond that in a new spirit realm. And that's what this was. It was not a thing. And what it was the light of God's face shining on me. Because I prayed, Lord, tell me what, pardon?
It was like you said about Isaiah.
Yeah. Abraham's was the place above the stars. That's where, let's say you die, brother. What's your name? Yeah, I've talked to you before. Yeah. Let's say that you die tonight, which strictly speaking would be a good thing. I mean, if you have kids or wife or anything you leave behind, they'll be sad, but that's temporary. It's because you can go and be with the Lord, which is going to be a lot better than this, right? So let's say you did. You would go there and wait, not with your body, but your soul, your spirit only, in the direct presence of God, and you will wait there in perfect joy until the Lord returns. And then when he does, your body will be recreated and your soul will meet in the sky. And you might know a lot of this already. And then it sounds like you know a lot about the Bible. But yeah, that's where we'll all wait. And it's kind of like it's in heaven. There's layers to heaven. It's a layer of heaven. So
building a new heaven and new earth. So they have to already be one heaven because you wouldn't build a new one if it wasn't already.
Yeah, this is our heaven will be here. The Lord's going to come with fire, burn everything up, burn all the sinners that have their sin, their works will be burned off. And then it actually says in the Bible that God will save everyone. 1 Timothy 4:10, Romans 3, all kinds of verses. A lot of people talk about hell forever. I don't know if that is exactly what the Bible is saying. I think what the Bible is saying is what hell is. God is called the all-consuming fire. Remember when John the Baptist says, you will be baptized. One comes after me, he will baptize you with fire. Gospel of Mark. I'm like, I've asked people, what does that mean? Oh, I don't know what it means. God's fire. I'm like, but why? Pardon?
You ever got the Holy Ghost? Like they call holy rollers. Have you ever felt that?
Yeah.
That's That's fire.
Yeah. Well, what I saw was a rippling. It was like a watery fire. I'm like, that's why he's called the all-consuming fire, or the living water. But all this is for you guys. I mean, the only reason that the Lord showed himself to me, well, he chose to show himself to me for some reason. But if you guys read the Bible, man, that's what God's doing for everybody.
You came to determination. You put yourself there in something that you wasn't comfortable doing, but you did it anyways. Mm-hmm. That's all we got to do for him. When you do that for him, he will give it to you. And I was reading to the guys in the cell last night, where he talks about going just like you did, in secret.
Yeah.
Getting out here and trying to do it for people to see us do it. Mm-hmm. It's not for that. It's for us to do it in secret so he can bless us.
Yeah. The Bible says, come near to me and I'll come near to you. Yes. Jeremiah 29:13, seek the Lord with all your heart. Because that's what I was thinking. The verses like that, I'm like, I can't be seeking the Lord with part of my heart. Was it Matthew 6, says if your one eye is corrupted, your whole body is corrupted? Yeah?
That's where it was. That's where it is.
Oh, yeah.
6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
Where you talking about going in the closet of secrecy.
Yeah.
Let you openly.
So that's what we all have to do. I mean, and when I've had 4 experiences like that are like, man, Bible style, and I'm like, Lord, ready for the next one. I'm going to do a prayer retreat tomorrow night, and I'll be praying for the Lord to. I've got a room in my basement. I just go in. It's not some big deal. I just go and pray for 12 hours or something. It's awesome, Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's what Jesus did. If you can shut yourself away, but if you can, lay in your bed, pull a sheet over your head or something, and just be with God, just focus on Him. And the way you do is you believe. Like I can believe there's a pen, and I can believe God is here. It's simple. We know how to believe stuff. But if I believe the pen, I don't feel anything. I believe there's a pen there, and I'm like, feel empty, bored, who cares? But if I say, I believe the Lord is here, and fix my heart on that, I feel great joy. And if I do it again, like I'll go up and down these talking to you guys, and if I'm doing, because I'll be talking to guys, I'll be like, let's know the Lord is here, and I'll do that as I'm doing. I'm like, I'm looking at Him, we're feeling Him with my heart, having awareness of Him. Man, you do that for 2 or 3 hours, you're feeling stoned out on the Lord after that. When that's Yeah. Brother, that's so big, man. I'll tell people when you pray to the Lord, believe in the Lord. Try praying without saying anything. Just be in God's presence. and just know that he's here. And then do it again a minute later. And all of a sudden you do it like 4 times or something, and you're like, man, I feel the joy of the Lord. You can do it wanting inner peace. Because, I'll admit, I don't like the world. I like to feel the joy of God. I like to escape, like God's a drug. We all want to escape our lives. It says in Psalm 37 that we're supposed to feel that way. John 12:25 says we're supposed to hate our lives and love the Lord, So, I always try to do it because we just want God. Do it because you want to have his peace. That's okay. But also do it because you don't care about yourself. You just want God because God is so big. And when you do it in that selfless way, pursue the Lord, it's just, man, he comes thundering in. I had a guy, you guys know who Charlie Pickett is? The guy who ran over the bike people in Kalamazoo? Killed 5 people. So we're ministering to him when I was in Kalamazoo. Man, when we started, he's like, when I first met him, he's like, I want my free trial, everything's rigged. I'm like, okay, yeah, we get all that. But I'm here for this, So, and I'm like, do you love the Lord? He's like, yeah, So I'm working with him week after week after week. And finally we get it to where he's like saying, I'm telling God I want him to have control. Because he's not always going away for life. He's got nothing left, none of us do, except the Lord and surrendering to him. And he's like, I'm surrendering to the Lord, but nothing's happening, Chaplain Jeff. He said to me, I'm like, what's going on? So I'm sitting there, and so I'm talking to him, and this guy named Bruce Venom, any of you guys know him? Has he ever been in this jail? He's a veteran over in Kalamazoo. He kind of lives in this area, though. No, he's a little guy, owns a business in Matawan. But, so he talks for a second, I pray to the Lord, I'm like, all right, Lord, it's time to show up. You got to put something through my mouth that breaks this guy down, because I may not see him again. He's going to trial, and he's getting out of here. And I'm only up here sometimes. Huh?
He's getting out of there. He's going out.
Yeah. I'm getting out of here to the other, penitentiary. So the Lord puts this in my mouth, and man, it's like, Lord just had me spit it out, and I said, do you want inner peace for you, or do you want inner peace because you want God? And he's like, yeah, I want it for me. I'm like, okay. Try doing it where you don't care about you just want to surrender to the Lord because you just want him. Go sit in your bed and pray that and meditate on that. Man, that dude, everything was different after that. Absolutely surrendered to Christ. When he was on TV, people couldn't believe, everybody thought he was fake because he was this weepy, joyful Christian. I'm so sorry for it. Because before he wasn't sorry at all for what he did. He was so sorry. I wish I could take it back. He was a completely different person. People thought he was acting because he was so different. I was reading all the YouTube comments. I'm like, you people understand, this is what happened. Pardon?
You really come to Christ, and that's what people's doing. They're going to deny you. They're going to think you're wrong. If they don't, you're not doing something right.
Sometimes the biggest problem we have is other church people.
Yeah.
The other church people killed Jesus.
They go in and like, who cares what they're doing? You better just get right with the Lord.
Yeah. People go to church because I want to get filled up. I'm like, you're not going to get filled up. You can go so you're kind of saying the same thing I'm saying. You go there and you just want the Lord, then you'll get filled up because he'll just do it. He'll put his Spirit in you. Well, the Spirit may be already in you, but he'll let you see the Spirit, be aware of his Spirit.
I'd really love to hear some of your testimonies.
Yeah, does anybody want to give a testimony here? The church that was supposed to show up, Calvary, they are all on vacation and stuff. They called me and they said they weren't. So I got a sermon here, but yeah, you want to come up here, brother?
No,
okay.
I was in Florida, man. I was really hot. I've been up for days and days. There's a Pentecostal church down the road. I was in Juanita. And I went to go to church, and I thought it started at 7:30. It was on Saturday night. I went down there, and then it started at 6:30. And I was already late. It was like 8 o'clock. And I went in, and he was like praying. He was giving, he was letting down service. And I walked in and walked out. And I got on the sidewalk, me and my ex-wife, and I'm walking down the sidewalk. And I thought I was just been up way too long. Something said, turn around and go back.
Yep. Wow.
I was like, yeah, it was a voice. It wasn't no feeling. It was a straight up voice.
Yep.
And I was like, kept walking. And I was at first, I got asleep. We're walking, and they turned me around and goes, Rufus, turn around and go back now. And
wow.
Oh, man, I said, let's go. Come on, let's go home. And man, the third time they did it, told me to drag me back. I went back. And I went in there and I started, and I walked up to him. I said, I just want you to pray for me. I said, I don't know why, I just need to pray for him. And I knew why, a lot of bad was happening. And I went there and got prayed for, and I went to jail the next day. And I thought that was the worst thing ever. And that was the most, I had my kids, it's one of the best things that ever happened to me.
And I didn't understand it right. It says God's ways and man's ways. I did not understand that. You said you're talking, and it just clicked. Like, I understand it now. A little bit. Like, I hear this time go by really fast. Man, I was messing up. I was messing up bad.
Yeah. Well, it says in Genesis 50:20, the Lord will take the evil of men and change it to use it for His good plan.
Yeah.
It's like, and there's a couple of verses like that. It's like people don't understand the big picture. I mean, the woman was killed, the lady was raped. I mean, man, I don't know exactly why it has to be that way. I understand a little bit about how God could only create an imperfect world because only God is perfect. So He can't create another perfect. He's going to create. It says in Jeremiah 18:4, if He creates us, He creates us with a blemish. He can't create us perfect because He'd create more of Himself, which doesn't make any sense. So you're going to create an imperfect world that looks like this. So I get why there's pain, but God uses all that for His plan. We're all going to be, when the Lord returns, we're all going to bow our, bend our knees, and we're going to be like, okay, now I get it. But you guys have to understand, you can experience the Lord. You don't have to wait till He comes back. The point of your life, the meaning of your life is to experience God now. And you just do that. There's only one thing that you do, is you believe in the Lord. That's it. And how do you believe in the Lord? Like we were just saying, I believe, just like you, the same way you believe there's a pen there, you believe that the Lord is here. And you make that your life. And you will have a life of absolute joy. Sorry, brother. Just a second.
Pick it up. You know 99% know that that's for money, right? That 1% that don't, you're disappointed. If you believe in the Lord, like,
oh man, yeah.
I've been blaming Him because He took everything from me. He just took everything from me. And I last year I changed my whole life last year, and I changed who I was, how I carried myself, my approach, everything, how I talked, everything, a lot about myself. And this year He took everything that I had away from me. My children, my family, my home, my clothes, my vehicle, my freedom. And I'm sitting here now again, and it's just hard. I don't know what. I almost just killed myself.
Brother, the only thing I can say to you on that, well, one, I don't get it. And man, I don't understand, but I feel your pain. I hear what you're saying. And I'm not just saying that, I really do. Because I got kids and stuff, But you got to tell God that. You got to sit in your bed and don't be bashful. Say, what in the world are you doing? That's how I became a Christian. Because
but I think that what I'm getting from it is it distilled my morals that I didn't have in me before, and it made them stronger. And it's made me stronger who I am. It had taken everything from me. It made me, I won't, like there's certain morals that I have now that I won't break for nothing or nobody, I feel. Like when I walk out of here, and it just, I don't know.
How are you with God? Are you mad? You can be honest.
I feel like I've been a devil in the last month.
Well, if we don't have God, we do have the devil. And even people that do have God, you look away from the Lord and there's two aspects to you. There's the new creation, which is washed clean of sin, but then there's the old man. There's so many verses that talk about, like Hebrews 6, 4 verse 6. Hebrews chapter 6, 4 to 6. Talks about how people can have the Holy Spirit and fall away. We've got to always, and if you do, then you get right back up and you praise the Lord.
I'm trying to figure out what I did to deserve what's happening. I don't feel like I did deserve it.
It may not work that way. Maybe it does. Again, all I can do, I say, okay, I'm a man and I don't know anything except that God is real and God is here. That's the only thing I actually know. And that His word is true. Everything else, all the science and all the crap that I've been taught in school, those are things people thought up. I don't know if that's all true. The only thing I can say to you is you must tell God your honest, this is for everybody and me, you must tell God your honest feelings. And if you don't tell me your honest feelings, then you're just wasting your time. You need to say, so this guy's out, he's hurting all these people, and he's not even in jail, and I am, and I've done so much less, and everything gets taken away from me, like Job in the Bible. There's a whole book in the Bible on that. You got to tell God. You got to say, look, I need to make some sense of this, and only you need to show me. And you have to say to God, I'm going to watch too. I'm praying. I'm going to watch for you to show me, because God's going to use things in the world, and maybe He'll send an angel to you or something. Okay, bro?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Definitely want to do that. So, I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There's nothing else that you.
I'm not asking to do nothing special for me.
One.
Sorry.
I'm not asking to do nothing special for me. I just
Why not?
help me make
He can.
stronger. I got to do it myself. but with him helping me. You know what I mean?
No, I don't think that's, in my opinion, that's not true what you just said. It says in Mark 16 that no one is good but God alone. Everyone else is wicked. If you're relying on you, you're just going to fall and mess up. You have to take Galatians 2:20. I got it actually written down right here. It says, I'm crucified with Christ and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. So you have to be so sick of your own self, sick of your own life, that you don't want it. John 12:25, like I said a minute ago, you're supposed to hate your own life and love your life in Christ, which is not a life of this world. Philippians 3:20 says you're a citizen of heaven. Okay, you need that. If you're trying to do it on your own, you will have a bad run, a miserable run, unhappy run. You have to turn your own back on yourself. You have to reject yourself. You have to realize yourself is fallen and evil, and have God. So to go back to what I was saying, though, just sit in your bed and just open up your heart to God and say, at your exact feelings. You can be angry. You can be. I don't recommend cussing God out or something. That probably won't go good. I don't think when you're talking to God, though, that's not who you feel. If you're really talking to Him. If you're talking to mumbling to yourself and not really talking to Him or something, a lot of people pray that way, they'll just mumble themselves or something. Then maybe. But if you're talking, it says in 1 John 3:2 that when we see God, like when we believe and we know He's here, it's kind of like seeing Him. Then we become as we really are, which are saved people that have salvation. We become like God. So you'll know what to say. Your heart will be fixed right, and you'll know what to say to Him. And you got to just tell Him. When I became a Christian, my wife became a Christian, and then she started praying for me. She started messing with my mind because I was an atheist, and she's like, you're making fun of Christianity, but you don't know anything about Christianity. I'm like, yeah, I do. I know it's dumb, and God doesn't come and get hung on a tree and all this. And she's like, no, you don't know. The only way to know Christianity is to know Jesus, she said to me. She's like, all you have to do is one prayer. And she said, if it's not real, nothing will happen. Who cares? She said, but if it's real, don't you want to know? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, that's true. If I pray and it's not, I said it's not real, so nothing will happen. But I need to at least be able to say to people I did it. So I did. And man, I just let God have it. And not in a crazy way, just like, I said, if there's a creator, something that made me, can hear me in this power alone, and He knows my mind, created my mind, can hear my thoughts, and knows everything anyway, I'm talking to you, and I said, I hate my life. I hate this world you created. I don't even want to be here. I'm miserable and depressed and really kind of suicidal at times. This is, many years ago when I became a Christian. And I don't understand why you're invisible. The only thing anybody needs to see in this world is you, if you're that good. Because all we have is crap in this world. So I'm like, I'm not going to believe the Bible. I'm not going to believe someone's testimony. I'm not going to believe pastors, churches, nothing. If you show me yourself, then I'll believe. That's what I said. And I was like, really, like, you have to show yourself to me. How can't you? This is absurd. You must do it. I was really, fired up. And when I didn't realize it, but when I was praying, I was talking to God. So I believed for the first time in my life. And when I got done with that prayer, it was like 10 minutes long. And I was like, man, I really feel like I'm talking to someone. He's everywhere. But I was a real hard-hearted atheist. And I'm like, no, I must be just have like putting warm fuzzies in my, in my soul or something. And so then 408 days later, God showed Himself to me clear as day. I saw an angel. My wife got in a car crash, and surrounding that was an angel. Clear as day. We had wings and a helmet on and everything. It was crazy. I was scared of it. But so my point is that that's what everybody has to do. That's what you. So I mean, I'm not saying you're a Christian, not a Christian. I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying that your story compares to mine or anything. But whether you're a Christian or not or whatever, that's what we have to do. We have to cry out to God in desperation, because if not, we're dependent on this world, and the world is nothing but trouble.
With our tears, we cry out to Him, we pray, our tears,
Yep.
We really need it. We cry tears. That's how we reach Him.
Dude, I was just reading that in James. James, where's that in James? It says, get rid of your happiness for lamenting. Yeah, when you're in a state of sadness, man, God is real present. If you're going to see Him.
Jesus, when He said, "Father, why did you forsake me?"
Yep.
He really felt like God was getting kind of bad, but He was there for Him. And look, that was the ultimate. Like, this is what we're supposed to be. Like, that's the specimen. That's what we look up to. Jesus is look up.
Well, Jesus was honest.
Yes.
I mean, you guys can't mess around. This is a big deal. If God is real, and you can have experience of Him, you need to, I mean, you got to have that now. You can't waste time, because that'll make everything right with you, yourself, your family. You'll be filled with love. I mean, it has to be something, you can't just do it, oh wow, I feel God's presence, now I'm saved, and then that's it. You have to do that all the time. It has to be your life. Yes, Philippians 2:12 says, work out your salvation. There's all those verses, walk in the Spirit. Now when I walk, there's not a lot of gaps. It's a continual motion. And every step, I'm in the Spirit. So when I'm looking at the world, looking away, I'm not with the Spirit. I'm with my own self, and then I have trouble. So, I mean, you guys have to just be real honest with your own life. This is for me, and for everybody, in jail, out of jail, whatever. I mean, you have to be real honest with your situation with God. And you got to just tell Him, I really, really need, like the chaplain said, I need the experience of you. I need to be saved. Whatever it is you want, I wanted to see God. So what He showed me, I didn't know that I couldn't really, you can see the light of God's face, which I saw, like I was telling you about when they had the prayer in the prayer room, the solitude with all my kids. But I didn't understand that I can't see God directly His face yet. Even the angels in Isaiah 6:3, they did one of these with their wings because God's too much, too beautiful. Pardon?
It says there'd be no beauty to see in the Bible. I'm not sure where it says it, but I read it. It says there'd be no beauty to see when you see God. There's nothing beautiful, nothing this and that. He's God.
Well, Psalm 27:3, David refers to God as beautiful.
Yeah.
I want to gaze upon your beauty all the days of my life in your holy temple. But I know what you mean. It's beyond. It's like when I had that beyond thingness.
And it's divine. It's just, man, you get down and you really mean it. And you guys know me. Most of you guys said, man, I don't think it is. But man, you really get down. I'll tell you, that's one thing right there. I will humble myself for every day for me. And I did pray for a long time before I got me. I told this guy when I first met him. My dad is working for me at stage 4 cancer, right? Since I've been here, I wrote a letter trying to get furlough, trying to get money out of the way, but cut around and drop the hose so I could see him for a little bit. And he went to church. They prayed for him. This was on Thursday. Saturday, he went to church and prayed. We come back up here to the doctor right out here on Monday. They did an ultrasound, man. He ain't got no cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he ain't got no cancer. I don't even know why. Not like money stuff. Praying. Yeah.
Did you guys see my wife the other day when I did the video? Just behind red, tall, red hair. Yeah, she. Okay, this is real. There's no. I mean, you go to school and they'll tell you all the science and humans trying to figure it out, and they'll tell you that that's not real. And then they go to the doctor. I need a cure, and they'll say, "Sorry, we have nothing," and go home and die. But my wife has an illness. Well, has. I don't know if you say she has it or not. But for years. It got worse and worse and worse and worse. It's like severe multiple sclerosis on one side of her body, and it happens in flashes. Like it'll happen for a week and go, and then it doesn't happen for a month. And it started getting worse and worse and worse until she couldn't function. It was kind of the intervals of it were getting closer and closer. So this is going back a while, but we said I'll just try to tell the story quickly. We're praying, Lord, heal her, heal her. I'm like, and the Lord's not healing her. I'm like, Lord, man, you answer all these prayers, and we're blown away. Why not this one? I mean, I get it. It's your plan. Maybe you want her to go be with you sooner, and if so, I praise you. I hope not. But if it's His plan, maybe then I do hope so. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But so I'm praying. I'm like, Lord, can you at least show me what am I missing here? I had this moment. It was almost like one of those times where the Lord prayed me. He came in me and said, "You're going to pray this." And He spoke the prayer. You ever had one of those? I've had those happen a lot. Those are, those are getting answered. Yeah. And so I'm reading devotions with I read the Bible with now he's 9, my son every night. And we're reading Matthew 17. It's talking about this is like an hour later. My wife had this, and I have this powerful prayer time. And we're like, what's the deal? Because we're messed up here. My wife's out of commission. I got 4 kids. And if I don't have a wife and she's sick and money and the whole deal. So anyway, I'm praying and I'm doing devotions with my son. I'm reading Matthew 17 about the demon-possessed boy who's paralyzed. And I'm sitting there reading, I'm like, what am I reading here? Demon-possessed boy? How could a boy be demon-possessed, first of all? And wait a minute. Because, you got to have, that seems unfair, because the boy doesn't have a chance yet to make his choices and stuff. So why the boy? I'm like, wait a minute. It doesn't say his mind is his body that's demon-possessed. And Jesus, I'm like, wait, I thought demon possession was about the mind. He says, no, it's about the body. I'm like, this is an hour later, the Lord is telling me right here that your wife, Jeff, has a demon that's doing this. I'm like, man, it looks exactly like voodoo. And all of a sudden she'll be sitting there sometimes. All of a sudden, she'll go like this. I'm like, what's your problem, woman? And then she'll be like, I got this prick in my neck. And she'll say even prick and stuff, and then all of a sudden it would turn into this one-side body attack. And so then I'm like, yeah. And so I'm like freaking out, saying the Lord is speaking this. I'm like, and I had to get my mind. It took me about a half hour to realize that we've been asking her to be healed, but this is a casting out of demons. So we go down and pray. This is after the kids go to bed and everything. I could explain this to her. I'm like, I think this is what. And my wife's like, well, let's do it. And I'm like, well, we have to really believe. Jesus walks up the field and the Bible says, do you want to be healed? And if there'll be two people sitting next to each other. He'll go up to the one and say, do you want to be healed? Not the other guy. And the one will say yes. And then he'll say, get up. He asks first. He knows who believes. And the ones who believe are healed. The ones who don't, it says in Mark 6, he has a hard time healing them. So, I mean, he could if he wanted, but he doesn't. So anyway, my wife and I do this prayer, and I'm like, I've done some exorcisms before, but not like this. They were more mind exorcisms. I mean, the Lord did them through me. But yeah. I mean, I'm just a vessel. Yeah, I do it, and gonna be not good. So we pray. We're like, okay, Christ Jesus, in your name, cast the demon, the legion. We don't know what to call it. The legion, I said, out of my wife, and in your name, and that was it. And my wife said she felt something going on, nothing like crazy, but she felt like tingling. So maybe she's imagining or something. So we're talking. I'm like, look, woman, she was on all these medications that really through the years had kept this thing subdued. I'm like, look, woman, you got to go off these medications. My wife's like, I know, I can't do, because if she goes off them, she could have a seizure, stroke. It's really serious. I'm like, no, you have to go off. If you don't, we don't believe. I'm like, tomorrow morning, don't take all the medications. And we had to talk about something like, does it matter anyway? I mean, I didn't say this then, but I was thinking later it wouldn't have mattered anyway because she's sitting in her bed in fierce pain. So she goes off all the medications. She wakes up the next morning. She feels like she's in the recovery because it feels like she's got her whole side of her body's bruised in the recovery part of it. And that was a little early because usually it's about a week that it would happen. First half is the pain, and then the next half is getting better. This feels like fire, like she's getting burned, feels like burning and stuff, and then the rest feels like bruising. She's like, she can't even touch it, like that kind of stuff. And so she's like, oh, it's already getting better. And then it went through the recovery phase, and it didn't come back. But we knew that first day, because she didn't take the medication, she should have been history. I mean, really, but she went into the recovery, and it did come back about 3 months later, and we did the same thing again, and then it went away again, and she's better. So, I mean, what you're saying, man, people don't get it. People are so tricked by all the science and all this stuff that they're being told. Pardon?
Because these signs are following those that believe. They cast out demons, they lay hands on the sick and shall recover. They speak in new tongues, they take up serpents, they can drink any deadly thing shall not hurt them. He gave us the 5 signs. Most people won't believe in 3. They won't believe in all 5. They won't believe in the 3 that they can get away with. They don't want to do the 2 that they're risky.
Yeah, if you're holding back a little, you're holding back at all. Well, remember in Luke 8:35 or 9 or somewhere in the 30s, the woman who's bleeding, and she says, it's not that story. It's the one right after, Luke 8:50. Luke 8 verse 50, Darius has got this daughter, and everybody thinks she's dead, and Jesus is like, no, she's not dead, she's sleeping. Everybody's like laughing, like, right. And he's like, if you just believe.
Read that last night.
Did you really?
Yeah, I just read that.
That's how it works, man.
Yeah, he told all the people to get away. He put them outside. About hand, go stand up.
Yeah.
He stood up and walked out. Yeah, he not telling anybody. He ran and told everybody.
And so she's healed, and he says, if you just believe, it's enough. People don't understand. Their minds are so scrambled by the world, especially with things like sex and science and illness and stuff like that.
They think the woman with the leprosy healed herself. She healed herself. She just didn't even have to leave.
Yeah.
She touched his garment and healed herself. Like deep faith being made whole.
Well, wait a minute. I mean, yes, she healed herself, but faith is this weird thing.
Yes.
It's like we're told in Hebrews 12:2 that faith is like a gift of the Lord. And then we're told that, but it's something you have. It's yours. But then the God creates it. So it's like this. It's like it's like here's you and here's God. It's kind of like something like that. Faith is being with God. It's that when we look out in the room and we're aware of Him and we know that He's here. That's faith.
Start your car. Faith you have in your car. Think about it one time. How much faith do you really have in your life? You have faith that it's going to crank and start.
Yeah, that's
you
good.
Have faith. That's
Yeah.
faith. You put your key in there, that's faith.
Yeah, that's, ooh, I like that.
That's
Yeah. People go to God and they're like, I don't know. And you go to your car and you're like, you're not even thinking about it.
Yeah, it's going to do it. Yeah, I mean, come on, man. Like,
That's a good,
yeah.
But you've got to, I mean, you have to go to God and you have to have, because if you're thinking about, if you have doubt, that means you're not with God. Like, remember we were saying if you see God, then you're as you are? So if I'm seeing God, I'm with Him. You know, and then I'm praying to Him. And I don't have any doubt. How can you doubt what you see, what you experience? When I say see, I mean I see Him with my awareness, my heart, my feelings. I feel His presence. You know, so I mean, if I have doubt, that means I'm not looking at God. It means I'm thinking about my own worries. I'm thinking about stuff in the world. I'm trusting what science says. Science is just stuff people thought up in a room. I'm not saying it's wrong or anything, but I'm not going to say it's right. Sorry.
I need to pray and really feel in the Lord. And
Yeah.
Hear something else, something else catch my attention. I just feel the Spirit go away. I plug my ears and
that quick.
Get the feeling. Just
So you pray and you feel in the Lord. Yeah, that's the point of my life, of your life. And when we're together, often we'll have that more. Like, you know, the best way to feel the Lord is serve others. You know, it says in 1 John 3:18-19, if you want to feel the Lord's presence, don't start talking and stuff. Go and serve someone in the name of the Lord. Like, man. And then if you talk, God will talk through you. Kingdom of God is not a matter of talk, but of power. 1 Corinthians 4:20. Like, a lot of people are like thinking the Bible's information. I'm like, well, it is, but I mean, that's down here. What it really is the power of God. I mean, people, when I read the Bible, I'm like, Lord, this is a book written by an infinite mind, the only mind that matters, the one that created all things. And I'm dumb, and I don't know infinity. I can't even figure out anything. Can you take my heart and soul and mind and get me to understand what you want? You me to understand about your infinite word? Most of the time, people want to read the Bible like, how can it make sense to me? And I see atheists saying, oh, that doesn't make sense. How can God command all these people to kill in the Bible? And then it says, thou shalt not kill. And they're like, oh, the whole Bible's a contradiction. And I'd be like, man, think about what you're doing. Think for 2 seconds about what you just did. First of all, you're wanting to make sense to you. Your little mind that is not infinite. And think about it. You're just missing something. If God commands killings, which He does all over the Bible, okay, because God gives life and takes away life. That's God's work. Okay? Huh? Or, you know, like with a lie, you know, He'll just take people up, Enoch and stuff. But think about it. Thou shalt not kill. God's not saying I should not kill about Himself. He's saying you can't do God's work. If somebody kills another person, but God, like Samson, when he pushed the pillars, you know, it says Samson focused on the Holy Spirit so he could have the strength to do it, to kill all those Philistines. That's not a sin, because Samson didn't do it. God did. That is not that's not a violation of the 6th commandment, is it? Thou shalt not kill? I think it's 6th. I'm thinking 4th for a second, but I think it's 6th. But so if a person does it of their own will, that's violating thou shalt not kill. So I'm saying to the atheists, I had an atheist coming at me saying, oh, your Bible's contradiction. I'm like, no, stop for a second. Have peace. You're thinking about it, you're missing a big point here. Because you're trusting your own mind. Sure.
That's there. I'm going to find it.
Well, because our own minds.
You know, your little mind, you're going to find it. You're looking for it. I can find glimmers of anything. I look long enough.
Well, I had people throw that at me, that contradiction, and I'm like, man, I don't have any defense, Lord, and I'm getting smoked by an atheist. Something's wrong. So the Lord just simply gave. It was like a week later, I was praying this. I'm like, well, I need an answer. So I got this guy here in the jail, and he's got me, and this is really not good for his faith. I need.
Angry when that happens.
But I'm like, Lord, so man, the Lord gave it to me. He's like, Jeff, this isn't what I heard or anything. It's just like he said, Jeff, just relax. You're just not looking at what's so obvious right in front of you. It doesn't say God should not kill. It says people should not kill. So I went back and told the atheist, I'm saying, look, in prayer, the Lord has told me to tell you this, that it says that this is the answer, and what you're doing is you're wanting it to make sense to you rather than asking the Lord to help. And it's just, look how simple of a thing you missed here. And that brother in Kalamazoo County Jail, he was moved by that. He had no response. But the point wasn't like, I got you. It wasn't like that. It was like, kind of like, phew, glad the Lord showed me something. Not that I was worried. I just wanted to have, because I trusted. I knew that God would show me something. But it was like that brother was, I think, he was very fair about that. And I wonder if there was a big seed planted in him.
Yeah, of course. And then you're the one that sows wise. That was wise and you were very. I mean, that's
Oh,
something-
wisdom.
I mean,
I'm dumb.
but that's the wisdom in you.
Yeah, right.
So you can listen to you. That's what God wants. You know how much that means to somebody, especially somebody that's in marriage, especially if you have anybody talk to
Yeah, it did seem
come
to.
back and,
Yeah.
and to care enough to come back and tell you the answers, what they found. I mean, that really means.
You want to know what happened? About a couple months later, I was talking to a guy. I used to be a teacher, college teacher, and I taught philosophy at Indiana University. And I was talking to a student, and this same issue came up, and I said, well, brrr. And this guy was an atheist. He said he was so shocked by that he missed that point. He went back like for a couple weeks and reread the Bible and started praying everything. Now he's this crazy fired up Christian. You know, I'm like, man, I can't even believe it. You know, this is a former student of mine, because I used to be an atheist. This is a former student of mine that I helped make an atheist, because I prayed, Lord, anybody I've made an atheist, you've got to work a miracle and correct it, because that can't be on me. Just figure it out. You know, I don't know how you're going to do it, but God will do it. And man, then that happened a couple weeks after that prayer. And I'm like, man, people don't know the big picture. People are so tricked by the emptiness of science. Again, I'm not saying science is all wrong. I'm just saying it's not the big picture. It maybe gives us, some of it is maybe wrong. Some of it maybe gives us little teeny pieces. And a lot of it is just theory, like the Big Bang, you know, everything came from a little energy point. I mean, maybe, but it doesn't really matter, you know, where'd the point come from? You know. Yeah. Yeah, God is like, you know, light everywhere, you know. And when you get down to that, I often wonder, like, when you get down to the small realm, like atoms and stuff, where does the matter stop and God start? And it's like it's blurred there at the end or something with, you know, little building blocks that make up everything, little points of light. So I'm like, of all the things that the reality can be made of is little points of light. Man, that's interesting, because God, the way I see the reality is God is. It's not like he started the universe and then let it go. I don't think that's what it says in the Bible, that God is sustaining all things. It's like he's creating every moment, all the time. It's like we think that, you know, if I drop the pen and then we hear a sound, cause and effect, like one caused the other. I think that God caused this and God caused that. You know, that's how I see reality. But does anybody else have anything you want to just like? Yeah.
Waking up every day.
Yeah.
It's been months since I picked up the Bible. Probably, where could I start by reading tonight whenever I get tired? Something. I mean, I'm so far down, man. Like, I'm almost killed myself a few different times in the last couple of months, and I'm ashamed to sit here and say that. And my kids need me, and I'm sick of feeling like I feel. You know?
Yeah. I wouldn't start with in John 5:39, the Pharisees, Jesus is talking to the Pharisees, the people that crucify him, and they're the church leaders, believe it or not. It's kind of a crazy situation. And he says to them, you are experts in the scripture, which was then just the Old Testament, but you don't come to me for, and then verse 40 says, but you don't come to me for salvation. So what that tells you real clear is that reading the Bible is number 2 priority. Number 1 is, what I would recommend to you is what we were saying, is I would just sit in your bed and look right at God. And just say, if there's, in the way, how do you do that? I would start this way. I would say, if there's a creator, you know, if there's a God, I'm talking to you right now, and I'm going to tell you the things of my heart. And I would do that. And if you feel like you're not talking to him, then stop and get your mind straight that you're talking to God. Like right now, I can look over in this direction, and I can realize that right now I'm talking to the Lord, the one who created all things. And hold that and just talk to him for a while. And then you'll be, if you continue to talk to him and be with him, you will be absolutely feeling his presence during the time that you're talking to him. And if you need to do it instead of on your own with a brother or something, do that. But you have to open up your heart to him. You know, you have, and what does that mean? That means you have to be really you and give him all of you, show him all of you. This is me, this is what's going on. Kids, feel like a failure. There's just no point. I absolutely hated this world. and really kind of like the idea. I thought when I died nothing would happen as an atheist, but I kind of like that idea better because there's so much trouble and pain and misery in my life. But that's what I would do. But to answer your question though, about where would you start in the Bible, I mean, I'd want to pray that with the Lord to heaven. I would start with the Gospel of John, and in there it talks about how right in the first verses it says that God is a word. The word means Jesus. What Jesus is the voice of God, and he says that he's God talking, and he's talking to you. And, so I would start with John, but I would do more what we said before. If you don't want to do that prayer and open up your heart, don't forget it and be angry. No, just accept that about yourself. And I would tell God, I say, I don't want to do the prayer. I'm ticked off at you. You might want to say that. I would do that. Whatever it is, I would. Yeah. Well, see, when you talk to me, you believe I'm here. You're talking. You're not talking to yourself. You're talking to a person. Yeah.
I've seen his miracles. I've seen a lot. I've seen my niece die in church and be rose. I was with them back in the field. I've seen a lot. I've seen the Lord do a lot of miracles.
Well, think about it. We're all dumb little people that don't know anything. We act crazy, make mistakes, get thrown in jail, hurt people. I mean, we're kind of insane. Everybody, all over the place. And we will always be that. It says in Romans 3, verse 10, it says, no one understands or seeks God. Nobody. Then it says in Psalm 80, the last verse of Psalm 80, I think it's 19, it says, shine the light in your face on us, God, so that we can therefore be saved. Do you see what's going on there? There's nothing that we're going to be fools except when we're radiated by God's light inside of us. When we are, then we're as we're supposed to be. So, I mean, to try to get rid of all your pride. I hear so many guys saying, I'm trying to be good, I'm trying to help people, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to break habits, I'm trying to not go on meth, blah, blah, blah. You will fail in all those things unless God's doing it. So, I mean, those verses right there is telling you that you can't do anything right except one thing. John 6:29 says there's only one thing you're supposed to do. It's believe in Christ. This will sound stupid and naive, perhaps, but I'm saying this from experience, and I'll tell you a story. If you get right with God, I'm not saying you're necessarily not. I don't know if you're not right with God now, but I mean to be settled. Yeah, I can see it.
He was telling me about the faith and how in the church and stuff. He got messed up.
But what's the Lord doing? When you have it, you're going to have a moment here. I don't know if it's tonight or in a week or whatever, where you're all of a sudden settled in the Lord again. Because I think you have been in your life a lot before. Yeah.
That's what he is.
When that happens, man, you'll see that your kids, you have a wife or ex-wife, so you lost her. Okay, something will happen though, and you will be absolutely amazed, and everybody else will be absolutely amazed, and it'll be a celebration of God, because God is good. The world's a lie, Matthew 7,
Yeah, he was talking about you seek God first, and then everything else will fall into place.
Yeah, Matthew 7.
It says, when you talk these words, you think I know what you need, I will give you it.
Seek and ye shall find. That's God saying that.
If you don't seek, you go to Him, and you get Him, and everything else is going to fall into place.
It really will.
Mm-hmm.
See, brother, you've got guys telling you that, not caring about us, only wanting God. Man, when you're in that kind of state and you have absolute trust in the Lord and are with Him, I don't know how it works, but God does. Things turn good.
I'm going to show you. I ain't going to lie. I'm going back to tell the prayer. I ain't joking. I ain't sitting here. I ain't going to be a hypocrite. I'm going back to pray. I'm back to
Me too. I pray. That's all I want to do.
Yeah. I'm going to seek Him so everything else falls into place. I've been putting everything else out there. They're going to do this one. They're going to do that. Lawyers going to do this. Man, forget about all that. I'm just going to seek Him.
Yeah.
Everything else will fall into place.
The world is trouble. You guys all know. Jesus says in John 16:33, the world is trouble. So that's true for every single person on earth. They have trouble. That's their life. But what does it say in the second half of the verse? But I have overcome the world, Jesus says. So He's telling you, you can have this and have trouble, or you can have an escape, a hiding place. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, some of you guys can start off with something small. Say you can tell Lord, I'm having trouble believing. Just say, I'm having trouble. Just tell God, say, I'm having trouble believing that. So I'm going to start off with something. I would say to God, say, can you show me something to start with, something little? Because when the Lord shows you something little, it's something huge when God does it. You know. So I mean, it has to be something that sometimes not so much now, but earlier days in my Christian life, I would pray something and I just wouldn't believe it. I'd say, God, my mind is too stupid. I don't believe what I'm praying. And if I don't believe what I'm praying, it's not going to happen. So then I would say, I'm going to pray what I believe in. And then I would do those prayers. And man, you see those get answered. In ways they really shouldn't get answered. Let me tell you guys something quick. I had this weird time in 2015 where I had a massive satanic attack. You know, neighbors get in the car. This like there was like a plague, Old Testament plague was on the neighborhood, and everywhere, all over the place. And I got this huge sore right here. I'm like, the moment. Let me just tell this whole thing. This is crazy. Now, you guys might think, oh, here's another story telling. You know, everything. You know, nothing like that happens to anybody else. All these spectacular things happen to him. No, there are happening to you. You need to open your eyes. You need to say, Jesus, make me see, because they are happening. And when you see them happening, you're like, oh yeah, this kind of stuff was happening. You'll remember, you're like, oh yeah, that. I just didn't see. Pray, Colossians 4:2 says, pray and watch. Okay, when you pray, you don't just pray and then, go back to watching football. You pray and you say, all right, Lord, I prayed, I'm watching, and He will show you. So anyway, so we have this, it's crazy. Let me just tell the whole thing. It'll take just a minute. So I'm looking at my cell phone, and a friend of mine's son, I thought this guy's a fierce believer, but pretty serious. Usually, I don't know what the deal was, but anyway, they got in a car crash and his son is seriously injured. 4-year-old boy. Like this is when I lived over South Van Arbor years ago. The whole community's freaking out. I remember the moment I saw this on my phone, a message. I'm like, the second I saw that, I felt the pain in my arm. I'm like, and I didn't think anything of it. But I'm like, my wife and I are freaking out. We're like, Ethan is in critical condition with head injury, and he could be dead. It's any moment, So everybody's going crazy. The whole school he was administrator at my kid's school, and so everybody's freaking out, rushing to the hospital and all that. So I get this sore in my arm, and I'm like, and it gets so bad by the night that I mean, it's like one of those where it's like you move, you're like, you ever had one of those things where it's so bad if you even go like this, it's like, I mean, you are dying. Okay, and I'm like, so this goes on for 2 days. This is a Monday. And then Wednesday, I can't function, I can't sleep. I'm like, God, what's going on here? So I'm like, Lord, can you just tell me what it is? Because I was saying, Lord, can you heal it? And no, it would get worse and worse. It was really a serious issue. I was in bed, I couldn't hang out with the kids. My wife's freaking out because she's busy and so forth. So I'm like, Lord, I'm going to go to church somehow, Wednesday night church. Can you, and so I said that. And then another time, around the same time, Lord, can you tell me what is this? Give me an answer. Because this is really serious. I mean, I literally can't function. I'm in absolute Old Testament style Job pain here in the book of Job. So I get to Sunday night church, and so I was a pastor at the church. I was the number 4. There's 4 pastors. I was the number 4 guy on the totem pole. And the lead pastor, he was giving the service just in a room. It's kind of like this. And he starts off talking, saying, he's talking to everybody as they're coming in and stuff, and he starts talking about a boil he had on his arm. I'm like, of all the things this guy could be talking about right now, and I just did this prayer. I mean, I didn't put it all together. I'm like, this is God talking. He's telling me I have a boil. So I go home and look it up, and sure enough, it's the exact same symptoms, and it shows you how to cure it, which is go with a needle, basically, which was interesting because that hurt like you wouldn't believe. But it was a real, it was like a satanic thing on me. When it burst open, you got to read Leviticus and Deuteronomy. It talks a lot about these swords breaking open and stuff. Maybe you read those books and way back in the Old Testament. It was pretty cool. But it was like I could sense the presence of Satan, presence of demons and Satan were there. I don't know how, but it was a real evil ordeal. So I don't know how I got on this. But the point I'm saying is that this is how reality actually works. I think you guys all know that.
Do you believe that He sent you?
Say again?
I'll show you something. This is no way to finish this. Look. Right there.
Uh-huh.
Just went away. No push.
Really?
Like, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Old lady left me. Spoke to the old lady. Nephew got real sick, almost died. car, that's Jaguar 2010, got stuck on the floor. Right, I was running from the top first, got stuck on the floor. I wrecked doing 170 mile an hour.
Whoa.
To the Lord's service. Up to him with all that big old sore in my arm, couldn't even shut my arm over.
Huh.
Yeah, and just since I got in here, when I popped it, it went away. I was reading the Bible about,
Oh, praise the Lord. Huh.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's how.
the method to me makes me think this is a conspiracy, but the Lord says that's crazy. Yeah.
Well, there are conspiracies. You know.
For real.
Yeah, that's how it works, though. I mean, God talks to us in a network of praise and prophecy.
Yeah.
I mean, we're supposed to be It says in, was it 1 Corinthians 13, it talks about the gifts of the Spirit. And it says in other places in the Corinthians, one is prophecy. I'm like, man, who is doing that? It's usually like this.
Yes.
People that are nobodies. It's usually not, the big pastor on TV. I'm not saying there's something wrong with
The
them.
disciples was ignorant and unlearned. The Bible said it's stinking.
Hard-hearted.
Yeah, they was nobody. Yeah.
They did the loaves and Jesus does loaves and fishes, and it says right there in the Gospel of Mark, they didn't understand the loaves and the fishes because their hearts were hardened. That means to open your heart is the way of the Christian. Now, what do you open your heart to? You only open it to God. And that, how do you do it? You share Him your life. You say, I want to open everything to you. I want to be with you, and I want to share my whole existence with you as a best friend, and to be with all the time. And I wanted to disregard myself so you can take over. And that's how you open up your heart. And if that's your life, then you start to live this other way. Not, when you're in the world, you're taught to look out for yourself, to follow the ideas of people, like science and so forth, and what's out in the news, which is a complete waste of time. Trump and all that stuff is all a distraction. It says in the Bible that Satan controls culture. Sorry? Yeah, it's all just distraction. Well, you talk about conspiracies. It says in 2 Corinthians 4:4 that the God of this culture, this world, is Satan. And how does he work? Deception. Now, I don't know about you, but if there's one thing we all know that's dominating the information structure, what is the culture works by information, right? We all know if there's anything dominating, it's lies. Not at this level, guys hearing a sermon, the jail, maybe not even at city government, so forth, but when you get higher up, Hollywood movies, TV news, politicians, everything is the opposite.
Will and grace, God's ready for all the gay people in the world.
Now, when a sin happens, it scars creation. And the most powerful sins that have scarred all of creation are the first ones. And so, like if I do a sin right now, I scar everything. That's why the world falls deeper and deeper and deeper, and there's more and more fallenness until, the end when things are a complete disaster.
I mean, I've got friends that beat their old ladies bad, and they don't even go to prison. But I'm about to go to prison for nothing. It's crazy. Maybe I'm overreacting about it.
No, all you have, man, is what we talked about before, because you got a hornet's nest.
Yeah.
And everybody's saying this, and everything's out of control, and it's like you're so deep in this hornet's nest that it's like, forget it. And that's, God, I've been there. Even after being a Christian, I'm like, all of a sudden I'm like, what is this satanic trap I'm in? Like King David says that in Psalm 25, the Lord releases my feet from the trap. That's all you got. I'm telling you, brother, man, you're almost in a good spot, because you're in a spot where you can lay it all down in life and say, show me it. I got nothing. So it's an opportunity for me to see what God does.
Really give that's all you got.
Yes, if you got not, well, it's all, nobody has anything but when you realize it.
Give it all to him.
Yeah.
I wish I'd been to that spot, but I'd give it to him.
I'm 40 years old, and
Dude, that's nothing.
I just can't believe I'm about to go to prison. I'm getting threatened with it for nothing.
Dude, the only way out of the hornet's nest is there's only one. I can say this for anybody, but you're a great person to say. There's only one way out. I mean, and it's because there's nothing else that'll save you.
Yeah. We couldn't click. None of our thoughts were the same. You can't. When you're on meth, you don't know what the fuck's going on. You don't know what the fuck's going on. Meth, my brain right now is debilitating from it.
Well, you're on meth. Your mind is a satanic mind.
So it takes 2 years.
Then alcohol and Xanax and everything together with it is just makes you a bomb.
I was just listening in Ephesians 2. Paul says, don't succumb to drunkenness because that leads to debauchery. And debauchery is a sin. Those who sin are of the devil. 1 John 3:9. Or is it 3:8? One of those two.
I know that we'll be okay once we're both. Can you go back to
The only way you guys will be clean is with God. Because that, man, meth is way too powerful. I had a brother telling me, this you guys might know him, tall, nice fella, over on the rock, just telling me the other day, he said, when I did meth the first time, it was like everything I ever wanted I had. I'm like, man, the only thing I can replace that is the only thing that's better, which is having God, which is when I first experienced God, I'm like, man, there's nothing else that matters.
God fails 0, that's 100%.
Yeah. The meth breeds misery. You may feel good if you're on meth.
It
And you,
fails everybody though. I've never seen nobody not fail from it.
I used to do a lot of marijuana before as a Christian, and I would look at myself and I'd be like, oh, this is great. But then there was a number of times I would look inside my heart when I was on. I'd be like, I still feel empty and horrible. I still feel like that. This isn't really an escape, and I would try not to think that way and just feel the high and stuff, but I was still that same. And then, but when God came into me, man, I had the peace like a river, and that inner void was filled.